To make Walk Festival Hall for an opera like Hansel and Gretel look like this, we have to use a lot of technology. And you've been doing opera long enough that you've seen this technology thing really grow and evolve over time. When it first started happening, was it something you needed to talk yourself into, or were you excited about it from the start?
I was excited from the start, Jeff, because what every opera house today is aware of, or every symphony orchestra that puts on opera in concert, is the fact that on some level you're competing with film, you're competing with the cinema, which of course has incredible, infinite tools at its disposal, and of course they can go back and edit and re-edit, and the whole process where film is created, and they have technology at their fingertips, and therefore when we are putting on operas today, you want it still to have that element of it's utterly believable. Of course, watching an opera is an act of suspending belief or suspending reality.
Right.
For that 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, you are being transported to somewhere that on some level doesn't exist. But that's the power of when the lights go down, both in the cinema but also in the theatre. You want to have for the audience that feeling that they really believe they are there.
Well, it's the 4th time we will have done so this summer. And it was important to you to bring opera to Grand Teton Music Festival. And now that it has established itself as a true part of our 8-week festival that I know is going to last into infinity, are you proud? How are you feeling about opera at GTMF?
This has been more successful than I could possibly have imagined. There was a great deal of skepticism. I think we were, both of us, also the skeptics.
I didn't know how to pull it off at first.
When we first thought, okay, we're going to put a stage in this enormous hall, not. We're going to put a stage on with 80 musicians, not. Well, you've achieved wonders too. But I think that it began with West Side Story, didn't it? Since then, we've put this on for a number of years, and I am enormously humbled by the number of die-hard opera skeptics who've never gone to an opera in their life. It's too long, too long. It's not for me. Who thought, well, am I going to go and watch Madame Butterfly? Am I going to watch La Bohème? And these are the very people who have talked to me and said, it has transformed my life, it's changed my life. This is unbelievable, and we're getting this, we're experiencing this in Walk Festival Hall. We're
making converts every year. These are the 2 performances that sell out first. I think there's a lot to be proud of. Hansel and Gretel specifically this year, at least on paper, on its face, might seem a kid's story. But it's not. It's a very sophisticated score, first of all, and I think a very sophisticated story as well. There are lessons for all of us in this music and in this tale. What do you take away from seeing or performing Hansel and Gretel each time you do?
Well, I agree that it's something of a disadvantage for this opera to be always considered a children's opera, as if to say, this is really not for adults, this is for children, when this is one of the greatest operas, and yes, children are central to the plot, but, and this is I think part of the genius of Humperdinck, when you look at the original Grimm, the grim fairy tale, it is full of darkness, it is full of cruelty.
Much darker than the opera, actually.
Yes, but you realize that these are the exigencies, this fills people's lives, you know, whether it's hunger or scarcity or domestic squabbles, whatever we want to call them.
Becoming lost.
And
I've been dropping breadcrumbs this entire conversation.
Yeah, I hope you know the way about. And the fact that these young children are subjected to the anger of their parents, and for them it's existential. And I think the brilliance of this opera is that Humperdinck, the composer, takes this story and he forces us to see the world through the eyes of children. This is not a childish opera, this is a childlike opera. And he speaks to the inner child of each and every person on that stage, or in the orchestra, or in the audience. I do believe, and many parents will not agree, or will not admit to the fact, but they enjoy the opera, perhaps, I won't say more than the children, but and here we are again, Jeff, the power of music and the power of nostalgia, the power of being reminded of one's own childhood, the power of being reminded of how terrifying it was for the lights to go out, the feelings that we had as children when hopefully it wasn't hunger, but it was fear of the dark, fear of things that go bump in the night, and at the same time, the sheer innocence of a child, and the way a child experiences the world in such a, whether it's beauty, whether it's silence, whether it's nature, whether it's the trees, whether it's an evening prayer, which of course is one of the most famous moments in the opera, just that sheer, the innocence and the belief and that serenity of being a child. And on some level, I mean, we say this many times, but we want to keep our children as long as we can, because there is such a sense of trust and such a sense of wonder and such a sense of awe. And that, bringing us back to the music, is what Humperdinck achieves in such a simple and yet such a disarmingly beautiful way.